Hey guys, this is about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, which took place from 1979 to 1989. And during the Cold War, the Soviet Union was trying to expand communism, and they're actually going to invade Afghanistan in 1979. And it's going to be parallel to the U.S. War in Vietnam, and some people are going to call it the Russian or the Soviet Vietnam. The Afghan Mujahideen freedom fighters, they were supplied with weapons and medical supplies and ammunition from the United States. We didn't directly fight the Soviets there, but we gave anybody who would fight the Soviets the most current weapons, and that had a huge impact, and we gave them support. Finally, the Soviets withdrew after 10 years. They realized they could only ever take over the big cities, but the countryside would belong to the Afghans. Now, we wanted to stop the Soviet expansion, and that was our whole thing. If the Soviets were expanding into a country, we were going to be supplying their enemies with weapons, just like the Soviets did to the United States in the Vietnam War and the Korean War. And this policy, after 10 years, the Soviets did leave, and it was considered a huge victory. Here's a slide. You guys will see that it shows the Mujahideen anti-Soviet forces. And if you notice, they're just way up in the mountains. This one guy right here has like a handheld radio to call in, troop movements. And it was very difficult terrain. The thing about Afghanistan, if you can see from this photo, is extremely mountainous. And the Soviets would be down on these roads driving, and groups of observers would radio ahead, and they'd set ambushes. And it was very deadly for the Soviets. Right here, this is a picture. You'll see in the black suit, President Ronald Reagan. Next to him is his interpreter. And meeting with him, you will see members of the Mujahideen, these Afghan freedom fighters. They're actually invited to the White House. And basically, President Reagan supported giving the Mujahideen anything they needed to fight the Soviets. And it's going to be crazy that now the United States military has actually invaded Afghanistan years later, and we are fighting in Afghanistan. So some of the people in this picture may be fighting the United States now. Crazy how history changes. All right, this is probably the most significant weapon we gave the anti-Russian forces. It's a Stinger missile. It's shoulder fired. And he is firing at a Russian Hind gunship. These missiles could shoot almost anything down, and they almost had a 100% kill ratio. The Mujahideen like to say every time a Stinger missile was fired, Soviet aircraft was destroyed, and it was almost 100% kill rate. And this really changed the war, because then the Russians didn't have their helicopters and their planes. They had to basically just go to the ground. And the Soviets, that changed the war for them when they lost their air cover. This slide right here shows the Russians controlled basically the cities, and Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. These are Soviet soldiers driving around in their armored personnel carrier in Afghanistan. The countryside was controlled by the Mujahideen, and the cities were controlled by, only the major cities were controlled by the Soviets during this war. This picture right here is kind of crazy. U.S. troops in 2011 are covering, they're still watching this pass. And this is the U.S. war in Afghanistan now. And it's crazy. The United States is now fighting in Afghanistan 32 years before the United States was helping the Soviets, enemies, fight the Soviets in Afghanistan. Kind of crazy. Some facts about the war in Afghanistan is because the Russians had invaded Afghanistan, the United States at the time made it a point to stop the spread of communism. So we gave all the military technology we had to the people fighting the Russians, and those people